Do not forget, you can support the channel with a like, and you can also subscribe to be aware of the latest published videos. Thank you. We hope that here you can find the latest news, ideas, and discoveries from the scientific world.
Born 217 years ago today, April 9, 1806, Isambard Kingdom Brunel was an English mechanical and civil engineer considered one of the most ingenious and prolific figures in the history of engineering, one of the engineering giants of the 19th century, and one of the greatest figures of the Industrial Revolution, who changed the face of the English landscape with his innovative designs and ingenious constructions. Brunel's given names came from his parents. Isambard's first name was his father's French-born middle name, which was also his father's preferred name. Isambard is a Norman name of Germanic origin, meaning either bright iron or iron axe. The first element comes from Isarn, which means iron. The second element comes from either Bayard or Barda. His middle name Kingdom was his mother's maiden name. The son of French civil engineer Sir Mark Isambard Brunel and English mother Sophia Kingdom, Isambard Kingdom Brunel was born on the 9th of April 1806 in Britton Street, Portsea, Portsmouth, Hampshire. When Brunel was 15, his father Mark, who had accumulated debts of over £5,000, was sent to a debtor's prison. After 3 months passed with no prospect of release, Mark announced that he was considering an offer from the Tsar of Russia. In August 1821, faced with the prospect of losing a prominent engineer, the government relented and issued Mark £5,000 to pay his debts in exchange for his promise to remain in. His father, French by birth, was determined that Brunel should have access to the high-quality education he had enjoyed in his youth in France. Consequently, at the age of 14, the young Brunel was enrolled first at the University of Caen, Normandy, then at the Lycée Henri IV in Paris. When Brunel completed his studies at Henri IV in 1822, his father put him forward as a candidate for the renowned École Polytechnique engineering school, but as a foreigner he was deemed ineligible for entry. Brunel later studied under the renowned master watchmaker and horologist Abraham Louis Breguet, who praised Brunel's potential in letters to his father. At the end of 1822, after completing his apprenticeship, Brunel returned to England. Brunel worked for several years as an assistant engineer on the project to create a tunnel under London's River Thames between Rotherhithe and Wapping, with tunnels driving a horizontal shaft from one side of the river to the other under the most difficult and dangerous conditions. The project was funded by the Thames Tunnel Company, and Brunel's father Mark was the chief engineer. The American naturalist said, "It is further stated that the operations of the Teredo suggested to Mr. Brunel his method of tunneling the Thames." Brunel married Mary Elizabeth Horsley on the 5th of July 1836. She came from an accomplished musical and artistic family, being the eldest daughter of the composer and organist William Horsley. They set up home in Duke Street, Westminster, London. Brunel built docks, the Great Western Railway, a number of steamships including the first transatlantic propeller vessel, and numerous important bridges and tunnels. His designs revolutionized public transportation and modern engineering. Although Brunel's projects were not always successful, they often contained innovative solutions to long-standing engineering problems. During his career, Brunel achieved many engineering firsts, including assisting with the construction of the first tunnel under a navigable river and the development of the SS Great Britain, the first propeller-driven, ocean-going iron ship, which, when built in 1843, it was the largest ship ever built. Brunel set the standard for a well-built railway, using careful surveying to minimize gradients and curves. This required expensive construction techniques, new bridges, new viaducts, and the 2-mile-long box tunnel. A controversial feature was the wide gauge, a broad gauge of 7 feet 1/4 in, instead of what was later known as standard gauge of 4 feet 8/2 in. He stunned Britain by proposing to extend the Great Western Railway westward into North America by building iron coke steamships. He designed and built 3 ships that revolutionized naval engineering: SS Great Western, SS Great Britain, and SS Great Eastern. Brunel, a heavy smoker who had been diagnosed with Bright's disease, suffered a stroke on the 5th of September 1859, just before the Great Eastern made her maiden voyage to New York. He died 10 days later aged 53 and was buried, like his father, in Kensal Green Cemetery in London.